Welcome to The Rendezvous, the exclusive interview series of One Way Poll. I'm Raymond Chang. As tensions between Iran, the United States, and Israel deepen, China has called for an immediate ceasefire, dialogue, and a diplomatic solution, while emphasizing regional stability and energy security. So, today we have the privilege of speaking with Dr. Hassan Doutaghi, the Consul General of Iran in Hong Kong and Macau. Dr. Doutaghi is a seasoned diplomat with over 30 years of service in Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He holds a PhD in post-Islamic Persian history and has served in diplomatic posts across 4 continents, from Addis Ababa to Ottawa, from Abu Dhabi to Sofia. Since assuming his role in Hong Kong in 2024, he has brought his extensive experience in political affairs and international relations to strengthen ties between our 2 ancient civilizations. And in these challenging times, when misinformation and polarization dominate global discourse, direct dialogue becomes more crucial than ever. This conversation is especially meaningful as it was recorded on the final day of Ramadan, a sacred time of reflection and peace for Muslims worldwide. And with this spirit, we come with an open mind to listen to Iran's perspective, to explore paths toward peace, and to ask how Hong Kong and Macau might play a constructive role. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Hassan.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Well, I believe both the Iranians and Chinese have deep tea traditions. Have you found any Chinese tea you particularly enjoy?
Sure.
Some teas, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and have you also tried the Hong Kong version of the DZ? I think in the Persian that's abgusht.
Abgusht.
Well, we have it in Hong Kong. It's a kind of a slow cooked lamb with eaten with bread, right? So I guess we do have quite a few things shared in common culturally, isn't it?
Actually, I didn't test it. As soon as I invited by you, I will test it.
Definitely, you'll be my guest.
Thank you.
But food is simple, right? But it carries culture, it carries history and heart. Yet today's topic are more complex, but we'll approach them with the same spirit, curiosity and respect. So may I start by asking a few questions related to the current conflict and Iran's position? How does Iran characterize recent military actions by the United States and Israel? And what does Tehran see as the immediate next step to prevent further escalation?
Let me brief you with the latest casualties so far we had during the past 2 weeks. As you are well aware, on February 28th, this completely illegal, unprovoked, unjustifiable, and terrorist war against Iran was initiated by the United States and Israeli regimes. As a result of these attacks, over 160 medical health centers, hospitals, emergency bases, as well as 69 schools have been damaged or destroyed. Additionally, 21,720 civilian units have sustained serious damages. Approximately 1,500 of my compatriots have been martyred, with at least 30% of them being children and women. The reality is, as our officials have stated, a ceasefire at this juncture is meaningless and irrational, while the U.S. President continues to voice threat, intimidation, and interference in our internal affairs. We have the bitter experience of the aggression against our country last June as well, and now this has happened again. This vicious cycle of threat negotiation, war, terror must be stopped. This will be achieved only when we are certain that the aggressor have been punished and accountable and pay the price for the act of aggression waged against my country. The central objective is to establish a credible deterrence so that those responsible for these actions no longer possess either the capacity or the willingness to carry out attack against Iran. From Iran's perspective, the meaningful de-escalation requires addressing the structural causes of the current tensions. Among the immediate steps Iran has emphasized is the recognition of its full and lawful right to develop nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, as well as the sovereign right to maintain the defensive capabilities necessary to protect its territory and population. At the same time, Iran maintained that continued presence of foreign military forces in the region has been a major source of instability for decades. A sustainable path toward regional security would therefore require either the withdrawal of such forces or curtailment of their capacity to project military power in ways of threaten the sovereignty and security of regional states.
Yeah, I guess, well, we don't have to be a father to feel the kind of atrocities that the Americans have done in Iraq. When we talk about the 160 female students who were bombed over the last few days. But Iran has stated it will not negotiate with the United States following recent events. Does this position leave room for third-party negotiation or mediation, perhaps by regional power or through UN frameworks?
Actually, the United States has a long history of failing to fulfill its commitment. We do not trust whatsoever the United States. They withdraw from the JCPOA, Barjam, which was the result of an international agreement that the US itself was part of. Last June, they attacked Iran in the midst of negotiations, this time while we were negotiating, and the Omanese foreign minister, acting as a mediator, announced that significant progress had been made and a deal was within reach. They attacked again. As a result, Iran has removed the option of negotiating with the United States from its agenda now. We are aware that several powers and friendly countries are currently engaged in consultation. I believe that the United Nations also must fulfill its duty. The behavior of the United States constitutes a gross violation of international law and must be condemned. It is my belief that this conduct by the US attempting to impose its will through force effectively signifies the collapse of international legal system and the establishment of the law of the jungle.
Well, talking about trust, what assurances can Iran offer to neighboring? Because we're talking about both sides, right? So to neighboring countries and the international community regarding the proportionality and targeting of its defensive responses.
Actually, Iran's history shows that over the past 300 years, our country not only has never attacked any nation, but has itself been subjected to foreign invasion 5 times. Iran's military program is entirely defensive. We are currently in a state of war with the aggressor, namely the United States regime and also Israeli regime. Our relations with our neighbors are those of friendship and brotherhood, and the ties between the parties have strengthened, especially in recent years, based on inherent right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. We have every right to target the interests of the aggressor, the use of land, airspace, logistics of our brotherly countries in the Persian Gulf by the aggressor against Iran has seriously damaged regional security. In fact, their continued presence has, for decades, contributed to instability, insecurity, and endless cycle of war, which profits military-industrial complex. By contrast, the Islamic Republic of Iran has consistently demonstrated a responsible approach toward regional relations, maintaining constructive and friendly ties with its neighbor, while emphasizing that the long-term security of our region must be ensured by the countries that belong to it. Iran remains committed to the principle that regional stability can only emerge through cooperation among states of West Asia, free from destabilizing influence of U.S. Zionist military intervention. At the same time, the international community must also direct its demands for assurances toward those actors who have repeatedly violated the sovereignty of regional states, not only Iran, but others across the region. U.S.-Israel military campaign and attack have violated several sovereignties, including Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, while the ongoing genocide in Palestine has raised profound humanitarian and legal concern.
I see. So talking about assurances, well, Iran has repeatedly stated that its nuclear program is peaceful, and in light of recent tensions, is Tehran open to renewed inspections or confidence-building measures under the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency supervision?
Iran's nuclear activities have always been peaceful. A nuclear bomb has never been part of Iran's military strategy. We have the fatwa of the late Supreme Leader prohibiting the pursuit of the nuclear bomb. The aggressors, due to their unfamiliarity with Shia Muslim culture, do not have a proper understanding of the fatwa and its significance. When the Supreme Leader prohibits something, it means that it is completely removed from the agenda, and everyone complies. In addition, the IAEA has confirmed the peaceful nature of Iran's nuclear activities on 15 occasions. Despite Iran's commitment to the peaceful nature of its nuclear program, Iran's nuclear facilities were attacked by the US last June. The IAEA did not condemn this attack, even though it has confirmed and continue to confirm the peaceful nature of Iran's activities. We are a signatory to the NPT and have the right to enrichment. Iran accounts for only 3% of the world's peaceful nuclear activities. Yet over more than 20% of IAEA inspection have taken place in Iran. During the negotiations, we repeatedly stated that if the real concern is ensuring Iran does not deviate from peaceful nuclear activities, we are ready to provide the necessary guarantees. However, we believe the nuclear issue is merely a pretext. They launched an attack and the IAEA failed to condemn it. For this reason, it is necessary to redefine the manner of engagement with the IAEA so that all parties fully fulfill their obligation. It cannot be that Iran consistently meets its commitment while the IAEA does not.
Well, talking about the nuclear deal, while we are here to find some answers, why not try to look at it from different angles? Say, for example, the nuclear double standards. Well, Iran has consistently stated that its nuclear program is peaceful and subject to IAEA safeguards. Well, we talked about that already. But Israel maintains an undeclared nuclear arsenal without international inspections. How does Iran view this asymmetry, and what would a truly equitable region-wide WMD-free zone in the Middle East require?
As I mentioned earlier, the reality is that Iran has repeatedly demonstrated its commitment to peaceful nuclear activities. Iran's peaceful nuclear activities program has been confirmed 15 times by the IAEA. The non-diversion of Iran's nuclear activities were reaffirmed by the IAEA Director General even after the aggression last June. Despite this, Iran accounts for only 3% of the world's peaceful nuclear activities. More than 22% of the IAEA inspection have taken place in Iran. This is why the Israeli regime is not a party to any international nuclear treaties and is the only entity in the region possessing nuclear bombs. Therefore, it is clear that we are not facing a fair mechanism. This is no rule of law and oversight based on legal principle. We are witnessing the collapse of the international legal system. Iran has repeatedly proposed the establishment of the Middle East free of nuclear weapons. I believe that redefining cooperation among regional countries and establishing a regional mechanism for security will make the region safer.
Let's say if all regional states agree to full transparency under IAEA supervision, would Iran support a binding multilateral framework?
Oh, actually, we have always welcomed regional cooperation. We have consistently emphasized that we can work with regional countries, including Egypt and Iraq, to define a regional mechanism for security.
I see. So let's move from nuclear to the people then. Well, Western officials describe sanctions as targeted, yet Iranian citizens reported difficulty accessing life-saving medicines, financial services, and educational resources. So from Tehran's perspective, are these measures a form of economic warfare? And how can countries like China mitigate the impact on ordinary people?
We believe that the sanctions related to the UN Security Council Resolution 2231 have ended. China, Russia, and many freedom-loving nations around the world, including members of the non-aligned movement, have rejected the sanctions. Sanctions from part of the broader strategy of hybrid warfare directed against Iran's development and strategic autonomy. For decades, they have specifically targeted Iran's defensive capabilities, restricting its missile and drone program with the clear aim of weakening the country's ability to defend itself against US and Israeli regime aggression. Should coercive force be employed by deterring the Islamic Republic? In this sense, sanctioned and military pressure operates hand in hand as an instrument designed to disarm the state. Although these measures are often described as targeted, their consequences extend far beyond governmental institutions and disproportionately affect ordinary citizens, particularly workers, patients, and other vulnerable groups who face obstacles in accessing essential goods, financial services, and opportunities. From Iran's perspective, sanctions function as mechanism of external control intended to weaken the country's economic capacity and limit its ability to pursue independent development while maintaining legitimate defensive capabilities. In this context, China can play an important role in mitigating the humanitarian and developmental impact of these measures through expanded economic cooperation and alternative financial channels that allow ordinary people to maintain access to trade, medicine, and technological exchange.
Well, this just popped up in my head. If unilateral sanctions were lifted tomorrow, let's say, what would be Iran's first priority for economic recovery, and how could China and Hong Kong's financial or logistics sectors contribute?
There is no denying the fact that our relations with China and Hong Kong are on the right track, are on an upward trajectory despite the unjust sanctions. Our cooperation is improving by leaps and bounds. For this reason, regardless of the sanction, last year we made a breakthrough in relation between Iran and Hong Kong. Therefore, sanctions have not able to halt the friendly relation between Iran and China, Iran and Hong Kong. The vast opportunities that exists between the two sides facilitate the atmosphere for bilateral cooperation. Hence, we have not waited and we will not wait for sanctions to be lifted, and we are advancing and moving forward our relation in various sectors.
Well, thank you very much. That comes to my third angle, which is related to the historical context and trust deficit. Well, many in the global south view the 1953 CIA-backed coup as against the former Iranian Prime Minister Mossadegh and Donald Trump's withdrawal from the JACPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The nuclear deal in 2018, despite Iranian compliance, as pivotal movements that eroded trust in Western commitments. How does this historical memory shape Iran's current approach to diplomacy, and what would rebuild confidence in multilateral agreements?
If I were to list the atrocities and wrongdoing of the United States against my country, it would be fill several volumes. In 1953, the U.S. overthrew the democratic government of Dr. Mossadegh in my country through a coup. At the beginning of the revolution, it imposed sanctions on Iran. During the Iraqi imposed war against my country, it supported Iraq. Simultaneously, it increased its unilateral sanctions. It assassinated the late supreme leader of my country, a leader followed by tens of millions of people inside and outside Iran. Twice in the past year, in the midst of negotiations, it attacks Iran, targeting our peaceful nuclear energy site, an act that could have caused a humanitarian catastrophe through the release of nuclear materials. It withdraw from the JCPOA, an agreement it itself has signed. These memories are ingrained in the mind of Iranians, and for this reason, there is currently no trust at all in the United States within my country. Accordingly, negotiating with the US is not on Iran's agenda at the moment. I believe that in an international system where genocide occurs, occupation takes place, attacks on other countries happen without the aggressor being punished, infrastructure facilities are targeted, schools, girls, children are being killed, where dirty work is outsourced to others. As the German Chancellor has said, the system has suffered a profound moral and legal collapse and is unsustainable. In this system, where the logic of force and the law of the jungle prevail, deep gaps have appeared. I believe the time has come for strengthening South cooperation more than ever. The behavior of the Western world, including the United States, has failed to convince even the public opinion within those countries. The blood of the oppressed people of Iran, Palestine, Lebanon, Yemen, and other free people of the world has become a source of awakening in the public opinion of the West and the United States. Trump's action in attacking Iran has created a division even in American public opinion and among its politicians.
So what specific guarantees would Iran need to engage in nuclear or regional security talks with international partners then?
Any meaningful rebuilding of confidence would require not only respect for sovereignty and binding commitment, but also accountability and reparation for the war's damages and cost imposed on Iran. Until such principles are recognized, durable multilateral agreements will remain difficult to achieve.
I see. Well, that comes to my final angle. And well, while you're the CG of Iran in Hong Kong and Macau, I guess we should talk a bit about Hong Kong as a neutral platform, right? So in this place, I mean, Hong Kong, we maintain strong trade and cultural ties with both Middle Eastern and Western partners, and operates under the one country, two systems with China's foreign policy guidance. Given Hong Kong's unique status, does Iran see opportunities for the city to sort of like serve as a neutral venue for like track 2 diplomacy, humanitarian coordination, or post-conflict reconstruction partnerships?
Oh, Hong Kong as a model of one country, two system has successfully played a key role as a connector between East and West. Actually, Hong Kong is a super connector and super value adder and an external window for the mainland. Therefore, it is fulfilling an important role in international trade and commerce. Hong Kong's efforts in the field of arbitration and mediation have also strengthened the city's standing and position in the legal arena. Furthermore, Hong Kong is a major center for the distribution of mainland yuan hard currency, which I feel, if I am not mistaken, has reached 200 billion this year and can be utilized within the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative. These capacities provide significant opportunities for Hong Kong to actively participate and engage in Iran following the war once this conflict come to an end.
Well, so could Hong Kong and Macau-based institutions like universities, NGOs, or maybe financial firms play a constructive role in Iran's development or cultural exchange initiatives?
Oh, currently, relation between Iran and Hong Kong exist not only in commercial and economic field, but also in scientific and academic area. Approximately 200 Iranian residents national reside in Hong Kong, most of whom are university professor and doctorate students, contributing to Hong Kong development, and joint scientific projects are being carried out by the two sides. These relations are expanding by leaps and bounds. Culture also is another strong area of cooperation, as Iran is considered one of the oldest human civilizations in the world. It can certainly be of interest to many in Hong Kong. Moreover, before the war, tourist travel was also ongoing.
I see. So, okay, put it this way, what message would you like to send to the people of Hong Kong and Macau regarding Iran's intentions and hopes for the future?
Honestly, as far as I arrived in this international city, I found the people very cooperative. During my stay in Hong Kong, I found the people of this very beautiful city very cooperative, very hardworking, kind, nice, and hospitable. In just the past few days, some individuals have contacted me expressing their readiness to participate in rebuilding efforts and provide assistance. I thank all the great people of Hong Kong. I thank all the great people of Hong Kong, including the respected officials who have shown solidarity and sympathy with Iran during these difficult days over the past 2 weeks. Iran is a great and wealthy country. Therefore, it is, I think, a good destination for investment and trade. I invite all the businessmen, trader, investor to start planning now to enter the profitable and big Iranian market after the war ends. Furthermore, Iran is a historic and beautiful country with 4 seasons. It is also affordable for tourists. Visiting Iran will strengthening people-to-people relations.
Well, what a good time for advertisement, right? So, Dr. Hassan, if you could say just one thing to the American public, one question, okay, to foster greater understanding, what would that be?
To the American public, my question would be about the accountability and priorities. Are you satisfied with the system in which vast amount of public resources are directed toward wars and military campaigns abroad, while many Americans continue to struggle with access to quality education, affordable health care, and basic social services at home? I want to ask the American people and public, are you truly satisfied that your government, using your tax money, commit war crime and kill 165 Iranian girls, and between the age of 6 and 12? This is the picture. This is the mass grave. This is your tax used for killing the innocent little girl. And it is said, is it commander? Don't you ask your government why, just as they lied to the American public before attacking Libya and Iraq, claiming there were weapons of mass destruction that later turned out not to exist, they are lying again to justify an attack on Iran. Don't you question where the so-called imminent threat from a country like Iran, which has not attacked any nation in 300 years, can possibly be verified? Please ask the current administration officials, do they have any understanding of Iran and its civilization and the history? Have you read even one book? No, even one page about Iran. If you had, you would not have chosen Iran as a place to meet your downfall. Iran has never surrendered, historically proved that. Iran has never surrendered to the foreign enemy, never capitulated to the foreign enemy. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Hassan, thank you so much for your candid insights today. Well, we sincerely hope that the conflict will end soon, dialogue returns to the table, and peace come back to the Middle East. And until then, goodbye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.